it. You're on the clock. It's the second round. You need a running back. Chase Brown and Amari Hampton are on the board. Which one are you taking? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, it's a very straightforward answer, right? I mean, at least to me, it's a straightforward answer. But of course, you know what? We got a couple of people that are about to duke it out. Tipp, on one hand, he says you should have Chase Brown. Nicho, on the other hand, says you should have Amari and Hampton, and both of them are a no-brainer. I'll be the judge. Tipp, you get to start it off. Second round, you're on the clock.
Yeah, it's not particularly close, and I'm going to tell you why. Chase Brown has done it in this offense. He's done it in an offense with Joe Burrow, who, yeah, I'm not going to knock Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert and the new offense that's being instilled in LA, it's going to take some time. You know, with the Bengals, we already seen what this team has done. It's particularly in the red zone, where last year they ranked number 3 in red zone touchdown percentage. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, the last 3 weeks of the season, check this out, guys. Last 3 weeks of the season, Chase Brown, 32 points, 29 points, 19 points. Chase Brown won people seasons last year, won people championships last year. And I'm going to tell you another thing, too. Not only that, 93% red zone touchdown percentage. 93% is what you got in those championship weeks from the Bengals. And I think Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, they're going to be on a tear this year. You already know Chase Brown has his explosiveness. You also know he could catch the ball too, right? So in his pass catching prowess, look, this guy catches the ball easier than some of the running backs in this league. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why I think this year he's going to break what he did last year when it comes to receptions. Last year in receptions, guys, he did 69 receptions. We like the number 69, but I think he's going to do double. I think he's going to do more than that. I think he's going to do 80 receptions this year, because you got a guy in Joe Burrow who's not afraid to throw it to his running backs. He's not afraid to sling it across the field. He's going to stay healthy, but the defense is going to be a little bit better. We saw last year with this Bengals defense that the defense started to hold its own, particularly in the run game. So I think the defense is going to take another step forward, and I think that they're going to be in more meaningful situations with Chase Brown. And if they happen to get into some shootouts, Chase Brown again, he's their workhorse. He's their guy. Samaje Perine, the other guys on this team, they're not going to be touching the ball as much as Chase Brown will at the end of the season. The only thing you got to hope for is that he stays healthy. Amari Hampton's got a lot more to worry about, guys. He's getting a new offense. You've got to worry about when these players in these new offenses, especially younger players, it's going to take them a little bit of time. It took him some time last year to get acclimated to the league. Now it's going to take time getting acclimated again and learning a new offense. So I think that the Chargers offense will be a great offense when the season is all said and done. But coming out the gate, it might sputter a little bit. And not only that, one last nugget I'm going to tell you. The Chargers also have other running backs on the team. Kamani Vidal, they've got Keaton Mitchell on there as well. Like these, they're going to utilize some of these other running backs, if not all. And it could turn itself into some three-man committee, whatever you want to call it. And if it happens, then that's going to be a direct hit to Amari Hampton's fantasy value.
You want to talk slow starts? Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are notorious for a slow start, year in, year out, and then all of a sudden come week 5, week 6, week 7, they do turn it up a notch. So I know you made a lot of valid points in regards to the offense with the Chargers, perhaps, starting out slow, but eventually getting there. And I hear you on CB. Like, I totally get it. He's got a lot of receiving upside, which we love out of running backs. But to me, Hampton is the home run pick. The Chargers completely revamped their entire offensive line. They're getting healthier. They brought in Charlie Kolar, who, let's get real, he's not a pass-catching tight end. He is a run-blocking tight end. Mike
Charlie
McDaniel, yeah, but they didn't bring him here to catch when they got Gadsden and Njoku. Mike McDaniel knows how to maximize an RB's efficiency. We saw it for years with Devon Achane over in Miami. I fully expect him to be involved in the receiving game, Hampton that is, the way that Achane was in Miami. And although Hampton wasn't on the level of Chase Brown in regards to having that receiving upside, I think that's going to be a lot different story this year. I believe that the Chargers truly want to play a ground and pound game with Jim Harbaugh football. He did it in his time in San Francisco. He did it over at Michigan, and he wants to get back to that smash mouth football. And it's going to run through the 2025 first round NFL pick for the Los Angeles Chargers, Omarion Hampton. Now, listen, Brown thrives on volume and opportunity. He can be a 3-down back, but the Bengals love to put Samaje Perine in the game because he is a better pass blocker. Hampton is truly built like a workhorse. He's 6 feet, 221 pounds, and he's in an offense that truly has an identity of running the ball. The identity of the Bengals is going to be going through Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So Brown needs receiving volume and opportunity to fully pay off at his current price. Whereas Hampton, on the other hand, you're going to get the explosive plays. You're going to get the goal line work. And in fantasy, you want to.
You're not going to get explosive.
You're going to win the league. That's how you win the league, is drafting upside. And with the upside and the explosiveness that Hampton has compared to what Chase Brown has from an efficiency standpoint, to me, makes it a no-brainer that Hampton is the play. He's the guy who can finish as a league-winning RB1 compared to a safer floor in Chase Brown as an RB2.
Okay, Nader, give it because he said the explosiveness. Chase Brown's probably one of the most explosive running backs in the league. The guy. No, the dude is explosive. Go out there and look at some of his tape.
He thrives on opportunity.
The dude, he does thrive on opportunity, but he's going to get it. He's going to continue to get the opportunities.
Which is why he's going in the second round.
Samaje Perine will be sprinkled in there. I'm not going to say he won't. Okay, I get that, but for most of this season, you got to. Chase Brown's still young. He's going to get majority of those touches. He's a safe bet for anywhere from 15 to 20 touches weekly. Like this is just on the sheer volume alone of the passing.
Yeah, see, the problem is you guys both make compelling arguments, right? I think Tipp conveyed his argument slightly better. That being said, me personally, I'm going Omarion Hampton over Chase Brown. But let me give you a couple reasons why. One, the Bengals run the ball to keep the pass offense honest, or the pass defense honest, I should say. The Chargers run the ball to keep running the ball, essentially. Like, they're going to run the ball all 3 downs if they're able to. The Bengals, they might run it 1 or 2 downs just because, like, Joe Burrow's tired from throwing it. Yeah, they have to. Like, you just can't throw it 50 times a game. Chargers probably have a better offensive line. Chargers probably are in a division more set up for them to run the ball. The only reason why I would sit here and say, oh, yeah, you want Chase Brown's safetiness is if you're afraid of Keaton Mitchell. Or is it Michelle? Sorry, I don't remember his name.
No, it's Mitchell.
Mitchell, yeah. Keaton Mitchell. He is, to me, the only reason why you wouldn't draft Omarion Hampton. If he does have an explosiveness in this offense, the way that Mike McDaniel does, like in his speedy RBs, then he's going to eat into Omarion Hampton's workload, especially the explosive plays, the red zone work, so on and so forth. If you're not afraid of Keaton Mitchell, then Omarion Hampton is easily a guy you're going to want to take.
So you're not afraid of Kamani Vidal either?
God, every year there's a running back that gets on the field just because the guys in front of him are injured, and that's just Vidal. Like, if you're sitting here telling me Vidal is better than either one of those two,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not
exactly.
saying that. But he's gonna get some touches, though, right? He should.
I mean, he gets like 4 touches a game. Like, is that really going to ruin Omarion Hampton's fantasy value? No. Like, same way Samaje P. Ryan hops on the field, gets like 3-4 receptions a game. It's not going to ruin Chase Brown's value either.
Okay.
But then again, unfortunately, like me personally, I like Omarion Hampton better. I do like Tipp's arguments slightly more.
Yeah. Oh, look, 23 days. You're right, man. 23 Michael Jordan days until training camp for your boys.
So for you, but no, that being said, I will say 69 is better than 80. I don't care how you frame it. You said 80 is better. It's not better.
No. Well, 69 is great, but 80 is better in fantasy because 80 receptions is what he's going to get this year. I think it's already set in stone that he can get 80 plus receptions as long as Joe Burrow's there and as long as Joe Burrow's healthy. Let's take a trip down memory lane, okay? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Last year, you remember Joe Burrow didn't play, but maybe 5 games the whole season. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. He played 6 games the whole season. I'm not going to count that week 2 against the Jags. He got injured with second quarter. Chase Brown had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games last year where he had over 5 receptions, guys. Like that's big. That's you're getting the ball thrown to you. Now, a lot of those games they were probably behind. I get it. They probably lost a lot of those games. But I think that this is going to be one of those years where they lean on him even more in the passing game, especially if I think the defense has gotten better. But if that defense does take a step back or doesn't do what I think that defense can do, I think that Chase Brown's going to be relevant across the board. And he's relevant in the red zone. The team is efficient in the red zone. We saw that especially when Joe Burrow came back the last 3 weeks of the season. I like it. I just like Chase Brown, man.
Fair enough. Now, where's our new judge? Nicho, help us out on the new one.
I'm stepping up on the podium here after taking my L to Tip on Chase Brown there. But listen, a lot of good points, guys. Good combo. So our next battle, we are taking it over to the tight ends. We have, let's see, we got Nader, who's going to be defending and speaking on behalf of Mr. Brock Bowers. And we have Tipp, who's going to be speaking on behalf of.
I like how you turned it into a courtroom, Nico.
Hey, I mean, the judge is at the podium, and we are off.
God.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, okay. So, Nico, Nader, you go first. I went first last time, so you go first because you got my guy Brock Bowers.
I just want it known, I hate tight ends. I don't think they belong in fantasy football. That being said, Brock Bowers, his only weakness is his hairline. That is his only weakness. And say he took his owner's hairline and they like switched, unstoppable. He'd already be in the Hall of Fame if he had his owner's bowl cut, haircut, and all that good stuff. But then again, he is on the Raiders, which might be another weakness if you really want to think about it. But this guy is the best tight end for fantasy that you could possibly draft in the upper echelon rounds. Not Trey McBride, not Sam Laporta, not those rookies or wannabe rookies that just got drafted. I don't even remember their names, so on and so forth. Brock Bowers is going to be the guy because he is going to be on a team that's going to be, you know what? I'm sorry to say this, down a lot. He's going to have the passing script to allow him to put up fantasy football points. And realistically, when we want to break it down, he is the leader of that passing offense. Like, the passing offense goes through him. We talk a lot about best balls and sleepers on people you could take in the wide receiver position for the Raiders. But realistically, all it is speculation, conspiracy theories. If you want to go that far, the ball must go through Brock Bowers in that passing offense, making him the premium option for you to take. And of course, you could talk about Ashton Genty, but you know what? He's going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, making that 2nd and 13 perfect for Brock Bowers to get, of course, more fantasy football points. He broke, of course, the rookie record for receptions last year. He missed, I think it was 6 games, and of course had a down season. Even though he had more touchdowns, he had less receiving yards, which only means his sophomore slump is behind him, allowing him to, of course, accelerate forward and be the number 1 tight end. Rest my case.
Oh, so you're saying the number 1 tight end is going to be Trey McBride again, right? So, okay, I'm going to tell you why, Nader. So it's quite simple. You talked about the volume. You talked about how much volume the Raiders are going to get. I'm not quite so sure because, I mean, they're still going to have a good defense. I think their defense is going to be much better. Whose defense is going to suck is Arizona Cardinals. Their defense is going to be terrible yet again. Last year, under Drew Petzing as their offensive coordinator, they ended up leading the league in pass attempts. Not too far behind them was Mike LaFleur, who was the offensive coordinator for the Rams at 35 pass attempts. They are going to pass the ball quite a bit. Again, it's going to be those situations where all 3 of the pass catching targets can eat in fantasy. And if one of those guys gets banged up, Trey McBride, he proved it last year. You know, the years before that, he averaged, even going back to his college, I want to say even going back to his high school days, if I'm not mistaken, 2 touchdowns per game or per season. And then last year he has that blow up because Jacoby Brissett was there and they passed the ball a ton. I mean, that it's going to continue yet again with Trey McBride. This offense is going to utilize the passing game because their running backs, we already know what's going on over there. That's going to be a question mark on its own. So they're going to pass a lot. The defense stinks. Trey McBride is your number 1 tight end for the 2nd year in a row. Look, I'm a Raiders fan. I throw all my allegiances out of the window, though, when it comes to fantasy football, and I have to speak the truth. I guess I do. I do too. What do you mean? I know I don't.
No, you don't.
I haven't drafted a Raiders player actively until last year, Nader. How are you gonna tell me?
Why?
Because the Raiders have stunk when it comes to fantasy football.
What do you mean when it comes to fantasy football?
We stink. and so I'm not gonna put players that stink on my damn team. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait. I'm going to go and get Ashton Genty because Ashton Genty is going to catch a lot of passes too this year. And so is Jalen Naylor. And so is Trey Tucker. And so is Jack Best. Like, they are going to have weapons around Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is going to be the guy. But you know what happens sometimes to the guy? You get phased out of the game and you have to have other players step up. I think that we'll see some games where they just triple team, get Brock Bowers off his game, bracket coverages, whatever you want to say to get him off his game. I think that they try to do that to defenses because they know what they're facing if they don't. So I think that, you know, he's got a little bit more to cover. And I'll leave you with this last point because people are going to say, well, what about Marvin Harrison Jr.? What about Michael Wilson? Yes, those guys will get targets as well. But you can't deal with those 2 guys as headaches and then have to deal with Trey McBride in the middle of the field. Those 2 guys open up the middle of the field for Trey McBride. So while Brock Bowers is doing all the work trying to open up the field for everybody else, Trey McBride is just in there eating all these easy intermediate passes and short yardage passes. And that's what Trey McBride is going to do again this year.
Now, you say that, but he doesn't, and I say he, I mean Brock Bowers, doesn't have to go against the Niners defense, the Rams defense, the Seahawks defense twice a year.
It didn't matter last year. I mean, I get
he's
it.
Matchup proof.
Yeah, he can be, but no, he's garbage time type of player. That's not what you want when you're facing and drafting somebody in the 2nd round. You want somebody who's going to be a little bit more consistent and not necessarily garbage time proof. Now, actually, I say that, but Brock Bowers is the definition of garbage time, considering he's on the Raiders. But that being said,
I just want to know, Tipp, did this one hurt you?
Did it hurt?
No,
did it hurt?
No, it didn't hurt too bad because, I mean, look, you brought up, well, I'm going to tell you something. You brought up the San Francisco 49ers. You brought up the Seattle Seahawks. You brought up the LA Rams as well. I mean, he torched the Seahawks. twice. Both times he played it. Well, one time he really torched them. He had 127 yards. But he scored against all these teams. The dude is just matchup proof. The dude is a problem. And I think that as long as he can keep his touchdowns up, I didn't expect the 11 touchdowns that we got last year. But if we can, I was thinking anywhere from about 4 to 6 touchdowns. If we can get 6 to 8, I think he can finish right at that number one position yet again. And yeah, it did hurt. It didn't hurt because, again, like Trey McBride, you have to have him as number one. What he did last year, you have to have him as number one. Brock Bowers, the other situation you have to worry about is the knee. The knee never was right last year. He said it. He said the knee was not right, and you just got to wonder if I believe it was a PCL injury. I'll have to double check that. You guys can fact check me on that. Those things can linger, man. If those things linger, I fully account that he's all healthy this year, but it could just take one of those crazy little plays or picks that happen in the game, and he's back on the shelf again. Trey McBride is just that dude, man. I really think that he can replicate what he did last year. And that's catching up with the Cardinals. We did our catching up with the Cardinals with Trey McBride.
Yeah, and right now the pick is in, says McBride is the best all-around tight end in all of football. Strongly disagree. He's a great pass catcher, not the best tight end in football. Strongly disagree. Actually, he's not even the best.
He's got George Kittle over there, and Nader's got George Kittle over there.
Yeah, he's not even the best tight end in his division. Right. So, like, let's calm down on that one.
No, George Kittle's all around.
He's probably not even the best tight end on the Rams, too. Like, you know what? They somehow always show up on the field scoring touchdowns. And you know what? He's probably not even the best. Yeah, he's probably not even like the second best tight end in the division either, when you really want to think about it like that one. Somehow, it always works out that way. Anyway, Nicho, who won?
Well, I got to tell you, gentlemen, I hate to do this, but I'm giving Tipp the full-on sweep. The 2-0 sweep. Even though personally myself, I'm taking Bowers over McBride if I'm in the situation. So very similar to the first round. But hey, let's hop into some news and notes.
Oh, Nicho got some news and notes. Nicho's news.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, before we jump into the next round of battles and hope you all like that first segment, congratulations to Tipp for the clean sweep. Let's take a quick lap around the league with Nicho's news. We've got extensions, camp notes, player usage updates, and a few things that could actually matter for fantasy football. Some of it, it might be noise. We're still in June. Some of it might be real, but either way, we're going to talk about it because it's been reported. And I know that Nader is sitting over there pulling out his hair, thinking about this very first one. Kyle Pitts was extended. 3-year, $54 million, 36 guaranteed, the largest 3-year contract in tight end history.
God, Tipp, you know what? When you remember to unmute your microphone, I'll let you have the floor on it.
I'm unmuting it right now because I told you, Nader, we're doing the Pitts dance, baby. We're doing the Pitts dance.
It doesn't mean anything. He's still trash.
Oh, look, you got Kevin Stefanski over there. Kevin Stefanski is the man. Look, there's a reason that this has happened. So whoever the quarterback is going to be this year, whether it be Tua Tagovailoa, whether it be Michael Penix Jr., dude, you've got to be excited with these players that are getting extended, getting their money, getting their bag. Drake London just a couple of days ago. Now you got Kyle Pitts. I think that Kyle Pitts is easily going to be a top 7 finisher in tight ends this year. I'll go bolder than that, dude. I think he can replicate what he did last year. I think he can finish inside the top 5. What was he last year, Nicho? Top 3?
Kyle Pitts?
I don't think
he was numero dos.
Yeah. I don't think he can do that. I don't think he's going to get there, but I think he can finish in the top 5. I said top 7. I'm going to go a little bolder, top 5 this year. I think it's just going to be sheer volume for this guy. This offense is going to be a nightmare, man. I mean, you got Bijan Robinson you got to deal with. You've got Kyle Pitts and Drake London. This is going to be some trying times in the NFC South for those defenses. it's going to be an intriguing year for that division as well. So, but I think I love it. I think we're going to do the Kyle Pitts dance yet again this year. And shout out to him for making that money. So now hopefully can he do it again?
Yeah, I mean, hey, good for him. But I think he's trash. I think he always will be trash. And I think I will be correct when it's all said and done, buddies. All right.
I mean, for me, it really boils down to, if you look at Pitts' production when London was active and healthy, it was mid, like the definition of mid. You're looking at your, 4 for 45, 5 for 70 is like his ceiling. It wasn't until London was missing time towards that latter part of the year. But at the same time, there's no denying the guy's athletic ability. He's 25 years young. I personally believe that if Tua is the quarterback, that would be better for Kyle Pitts than if it was Penix. Penix has a stronger arm. He likes to pepper his ex-receiver, a.k.a. Drake London. I do feel that Tua is more of your short to intermediate precision passing, which would obviously benefit Bijan and Pitts, but we'll see. I lean towards Tua. What about you guys? You guys think it's going to be Tua or Penix?
I think so too. I think, yeah.
It's like, oh, do you want a dumpster or a trash can?
They just want another lefty, man. They just want another lefty.
Hey, I'm a lefty. Can I put my name in the hat?
Try out, see how it goes for you. The NFL is declining to hold a supplemental draft this summer, currently leaving the 2027 draft as the only way that college quarterback Brandon Sorsby is able to enter the NFL. Josh Downs. Shane Steichen, Colts head coach, plans to move Josh Downs all around the formation, giving him ample opportunities to play not only in the slot, but also on the outside and be able to exploit mismatches against opposing defenses. In OTAs, Downs was seen on the outside plenty during minicamp, making plays no matter which quarterback was directing the offense. I really like Josh Downs this year. I truly do believe. I mean, you have Michael Pittman, who was shipped out of town over to Pittsburgh. You're now looking at, anywhere between 100 and 120 vacant targets that are now up for grabs. Now, I do believe that most of it will be going to someone I talked about last week as a second-year breakout, which is Tyler Warren. But at the same time, based on where Downs is going in a lot of your drafts this year, I do believe there's a little bit of value there. I think this news is important because we're seeing him play more than just the slot. I know he's a smaller receiver, but at the same time, if he's getting the opportunity, Daniel Jones is coming off his injury, and honestly, he might struggle with the deep ball a little bit, which means more short intermediate, which could mean, more ample opportunities for Josh Downs. Any thoughts there, gentlemen?
I mean, Nader, did you hear it? I think Nicho is getting on the hype train with this one, man, because I just can't do it with Josh Downs, man. It's just you alluded to it. He's a smaller wide receiver. He always gets banged up. I like the fact that he is getting this opportunity or could get this opportunity. How long will it last, man? I really think we're on the ball with the Tyler Warren pick. I think that, a lot of people are maybe not forgetting about him, but they're not talking about him as much because it's Indianapolis and it's kind of boring. But I really think that he could be the one that emerges in this offense. And I think Josh Downs will just be one of those guys who does things here and there, but just not consistent enough.
Yeah. It's off-season hype news to me. You know what? I do not want Josh Downs on my roster. If he goes off, he goes off. Good for him. It'll be on somebody else's roster, not mine. I'll let somebody else deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. With that, if you're looking at 9th, 10th round, potentially looking at some upside, I will say if someone like a Keenan Allen goes there, value gone. So if they, or like a Diggs, like if they bring anyone in, that value would be gone. Brenton Strange extension, tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a big news.
Tight end's getting paid.
Apparently, they just are extending everybody there, and every report out of minicamp and OTAs is basically saying that everyone in the Jaguars offense is going to take off this year. It's starting to feel kind of worrisome, almost like too much hype. But anyways, Brenton Strange's extension, he agreed to a 3-year extension worth up to $48 million with $25 million guaranteed per his agents. Any thoughts there, gentlemen?
You know, well, go ahead, Nader.
Who? It's like really like who? I don't know.
All right, enough said.
You need to stop, Nader. You know who Brenton Strange is.
I love when bad franchises overpay their players because it just handicaps them later on. Now, of course, that's not necessarily fantasy related. I'm not drafting Brenton Strange. Like, why in the world would you ever draft him other than him as like a streamer option, dart throw type of thing? Like, really? Like, you're gonna sit there and feel confident putting somebody named Brenton Strange on your roster? He doesn't even have a tight end name. Like,
you gotta do a little strange, something strange for some change, though.
Yeah, like at least Kyle Pitts has a tight end name. Like, I'm not doing it.
Well, at least Kyle Pitts. I mean, I like Dr. Strange, man. I like him. I like Brenton Strange. I think that the Jaguars like him too. And you said something, Nicho, that was really important. Like this offense, Liam Cohen said that this is the time right now that they are fine-tuning some of the things they've done last year. They're not necessarily building or like trying to install new things. They're just fine-tuning those things that they did last year. And I like that. I think that you do the things that you did well, you fine-tune them so you can do them even better. And look at where this offense finished last year. Look at where Trevor Lawrence finished last year. I think this offense is on the up and up. So I like Brenton Strange, and I wouldn't mind taking him as a flyer in a tight end premium league. I think that you can take him as a flyer, and he could be one of those players that does really well for you. Now, again, he's a tight end, and Nader does have a point about some of these tight ends. If you don't, get some of the big guys that we just talked about, Trey McBride or Brock Bowers, it's kind of like you punt the position. I say pump your brakes on that. This position is getting a little deeper now. Brenton Strange wouldn't be my number one tight end, but if you're going to do a yin and yang type tight end situation like my boy Coop on Fantasy Alarm, then Brenton Strange would be one of those yin or one of those yangs on my team.
There we go. Now, of course, we're going to continue on with the round 3 running backs of the this or that. But before we do, make sure to comment on the chat. See how you're liking the show. Want any suggestions? Want us to talk about any specific player? Make sure to drop it down in the comments down below. But of course, as well, like, subscribe, follow us on socials. Of course, at FF Space. You want to make sure to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, stick around to follow the journey. Now, the round 3 running backs, Javonte Williams, Nicho, and of course, I have Kyren Williams. Tipp will be the judge. Now, of course, Nicho, I'm going to let you start it off first.
There it is. I feel like we can't start until the gong goes.
Yeah. I thought I hit it.
It's all good. Listen, I'm not going to go on a deep analytical dive here like I normally do because these two guys are identical. They thrive on opportunity, and their production last year reflected it. Neither of them is super efficient with their touches, but there's a clear reason as to why you should be taking Javonte Williams over Kyren Williams, and it's 2 words. It's Blake Corum. There is no Blake Corum in Dallas. There is a Malik Davis, there is a Jaden Blue, and a Phil Maffa behind him. Both of these guys' opportunities and productivity on the ground and through the air were fairly identical, and Javonte did it in 1 fewer game than Kyren did. The argument for Javonte is that the gap between them may not be as big as the market may think. He had a monster season last year. He rushed for over 1,200 yards, 13 total TDs, 35 catches, which, by the way, it was fairly inefficient, 3.9 yards per reception on his 35 catches. And that has to show some positive regression because having it be that low just when you're a check down Charlie, like there's positive regression there coming there for me. And Dallas rewarded him with a 3-year, $24 million contract, which tells us that they view him as more than just a 1-year fluke. And the biggest case for me is just role stability. plus price. Kyron's been a workhorse in the past, but the Rams have been trying to get Blake Corum more and more involved. We saw it all throughout last year. We saw that down the stretch. Javonte had a 69% opportunity share compared to Kyron's 64.8. Kyron is truly in that two-headed rushing attack, while Javonte just has no competition. And I'm not like sitting here and saying that Kyron is dead or not a great pick, but when you're looking at these two potential opportunities in the third round of your draft and you're looking for a running back, I just feel that Javonte has that higher upside because he's not splitting that target. So, and before anyone chimes in with red zone this, red zone that, Javonte had more red zone touches than Kyron did last year. Overall, Kyron deserves respect, but he is being priced like a safer workhorse while Corum is clearly not going away. Meanwhile, Javonte is sitting here, got paid, got his monies, and has a clear path to success in a high potent offense.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is Javonte. I like him a lot. I do like him a lot. I think he is a phenomenal player, but hear me out. It's all wrong. Kyron Williams will always be the guy that you want stashed on your roster, like especially in the third round. Like if you take, for example, let's go Jamar Chase in the first pick, and then the second pick, you go, unfortunately, I don't have my ADP list right in front of me on how draft goes, but you know what? We're just gonna theory craft. You took Chase
Drake
Brown.
London.
Drake London. No. You definitely did not do that. You definitely did not do that. You
talking about London last week.
No, you're not doing that. That means you got a solid wide receiver one. You got a solid RB1 on your roster. Okay, now you have the ability to go for flexibility, and you want Kyron Williams in that spot specifically because if you have an RB stack of Chase Brown and Kyron Williams, you're looking very scary. And then Chase Brown as a wide receiver. So Chase Brown. Am I saying Jamar Chase? Sorry, I can't say it right. Jamar Chase is your wide receiver one. Chase Brown's your RB1, and then now you have Kyron Williams as RB2. That's a scary roster because Kyron Williams is the staple of consistency in the running back position for the NFL. He always is healthy. The worst he's ever missed is 5 games in 2023. He plays when he's hurt. He plays when he's healthy. Obviously, he plays when he's healthy. And of course, he is guaranteed minimum 10 touchdowns. Guaranteed. Last 3 seasons, least 10, most 14. You're going to get solid red zone production on arguably the most efficient offense in NFL. Like, he's going to have opportunities regardless of how he plays. He could play with a 3-yard per carry average. He's going to get red zone touches because his team's going to get in the red zone regardless of how he plays. He's going to find a way into the end zone because of how good that team is. You have MVP caliber quarterback, MVP head coach, MVP wide receivers, MVP offensive line. They're making a Super Bowl run, and you saw that with their massive trades going in for Myles Garrett. And to get in the end zone and to win football games, Kyron Williams has to be productive. With Javonte Williams, like the Cowboys, they're not going anywhere. At some point halfway through the season, you know what they're going to do? They're going to start going, all right, we got to see what our rookies got. We got to see how our rookies do. And eventually you're going to see Javonte Williams touches. They're just going to go a little bit down every single week. And then you're going to see the backup go up a little hair tick every single week. Kyron Williams, he is going for the Super Bowl. His team is. And of course, if he's going for the Super Bowl, then you're going for the championship.
What are your thoughts on Blake Corum though? Because you didn't mention him once. And
yes.
Are you not worried?
Let me tell you. I am the opposite of CMC, where he needs to be on the field 24/7. Just like how Bijan Robinson isn't on the field 24/7. Well, we discussed this last week. He's on the field. What was it, like 67% of the snaps? It was something like that. Like, it is perfectly okay for him to not be on the field 100% of the time. If anything, it's better. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You want him in your active lineup, not on the injured reserve when it comes to championship season, because when you're drafting somebody like Kyron Williams, you're expected to be in the fantasy playoffs at this point. And you know what? If he's playing, he's producing fantasy points, and that's something you want to see.
This one's a good one, guys. And I think a lot of people see, we talk about Kyron Williams. We talked about him on our show several times. especially when we were doing spaces back on X. I know his name popped up. We haven't talked a lot about Javonte Williams, and we really haven't talked about what he did last year and what he could do in year 2 in Dallas. But I'm still going to lean Kyren, man. I think Kyren is that guy that he's just steady Eddie. He's just does it all. He's always going to be productive, especially in the red zone. Nico, you asked, are we concerned about Blake Corum? And I'm not necessarily concerned about him. I mean, yes, he's there. Yes, he's going to take away some touches for a spell, but I'm not that concerned with him. We didn't need to be concerned with him last year. And we definitely, I think this year, going into this year with Sean McVay again, Sean McVay plays the players that he trusts. And I'm not saying he doesn't trust Blake Corum, but I think that he has to gain some more of that trust to get on the same level with Kyren Williams has. So I think Kyren Williams, slight tick, man, but I think it's very, very close, especially if we get that Javonte Williams. And if Jaden Blue doesn't take that next step, if we get that Javonte Williams from last year, I think he can have an even better season this year because I think that the defense is going to be better and they run a little bit more too, which Brian Schottenheimer wants to do.
I was so shocked looking at these two players side by side. They are the same person from a standpoint of opportunity, productivity, and efficiency. Like, they're not the most efficient runners. They thrive on the opportunity given to them. And for me, the deal breaker, if you will, when you were looking at that is who do I believe is going to have more opportunity in 2026, which when you look at competition in the running back room, which is why I lean Javonte. But Nader made some good points. Congratulations, sir. I tip my cap to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was hard to argue against Javonte Williams because I do like the guy. But again, even me personally, not defending, me just having to defend Kyren Williams, like me personally, I do really like Kyren Williams as well.
I'm just glad you said or didn't say, oh, they're in a better offense, like the Dallas Cowboys offense is nothing. Because we all know you love your players on good teams.
Yes.
Hence the Kyren, hence the Devontae.
Yes.
But anywho, congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you know who else we're going to congratulate as well? We're going to congratulate the great Bob Lung of the Fantasy Football Expo and the Consistency Guide Report. Guys, go ahead. Play that little clip.
Let me see if I could figure this out. Let's add this to stage.
Hey, everybody. Bob Lung with the Fantasy Football Expo here. Look, I know you're a fantasy football fan. You're obviously a player because you're listening to the Fantasy Football Space podcast. And so, therefore, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to come to the Fantasy Football Expo this July 24th to the 26th. It's in Canton, Ohio. So if you've never been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, this is your opportunity to do both. So come hang out with us. We've got parties. We've got panel discussions, booths, all kinds of fun. Hang out with 600-700 of your closest fantasy football friends. Do not miss this. TheFantasyFootballExpo.com is where you get your tickets. Get them now. Price goes up July 1st, and we'll see you in Canton in just a few weeks.
Damn, that's a really good commercial right there. Honestly, I have met. Sorry, man, I feel so bad. I don't remember his name anymore. I am
Bob
so
Lung?
mad. Bob Lung. Yeah, I've met him like once, not like physically, but like over the internet. I met him and super nice guy, really nice guy. So of course,
he did a show with us. Yeah, he did a show with us like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Cool guy.
Yeah,
cool
real
guy.
cool dude.
Now, of course.
So go ahead,
Should we
Nader.
continue it? All right. We got Devontae Smith and Garrett Wilson. So, of course, Devontae Smith is going to have Nicho defending him. Garrett Wilson, good luck, Tipp, because I don't think there is defending him. But, Nicho, you're on the board first. Let me hit the gong. Let her rip.
This guy I am planting my flag on in 2026, and that is Devontae Smith. Listen, Garrett Wilson, I'm going to come out and say it right now. He is the better, perhaps, volume bet and targets, but Devontae Smith will be better from an efficiency and overall production standpoint. Like, Wilson's case is fair. He is the clear number one alpha in New York. He has 315 catches and over 3,000 yards and 18 TDs in his career there. But guess who is now also the alpha with his team? And that's Devontae Smith. And the problem is, like, we keep thinking of Garrett Wilson like the situation in New York is finally fixed. I'm going to sit here right now and I'm going to tell you it's not. At some point, you have to ask whether you want the better target projection player or the player attached to an offense that you actually trust. Devontae Smith had 77 catches and over 1,000 yards in 2025, and that was with only 4 TDs. If the touchdowns normalize even just a little bit and he gets anywhere north of 6 to 8 touchdowns, Devontae Smith is going to be an absolute smash at his spot. And I believe they will normalize with the departure of A.J. Brown and his 29.5% target share just completely gone. The Eagles' offense is simply, to me, more predictable than what the Jets' offense is going to be. Smith is attached to Jalen Hurts, a stronger and healthier offensive line, and a team that should thrive in scoring positions. And again, Wilson may see more targets, but Smith's targets will be significantly more valuable. Smith is better in yards per route run, separation, yards per reception. Devontae doesn't need 12 targets to matter like Wilson does. He can win deep, he can win in the intermediate area, and he can turn 6 to 8 targets into a monster game. At the end of the day, look, Wilson's fine. He's a safe floor, but I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about Hampton. I prefer drafting upside, and Devontae Smith is that upside. Wilson gives you the target ceiling, but Smith gives you the better offense, efficiency, and a cleaner path to a true wide receiver jump compared to what you're getting with Wilson. Slim Reaper, to the moon.
To the moon. Tip, I don't know how you're going to top that, but good luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I will top that because Nicho said it. Nicho talked about how the consistency. He talked about the knowing what you know, and what you know with Garrett Wilson is 2024 251 points, 2023 213 points, 2022 215 points. The only reason he didn't get 200 points last year in fantasy football in a standard PPR league, I don't know if that's a thing, a standard PPR, in a PPR league, is because he got hurt. So he would have done the same thing again with these terrible quarterbacks that he's played with. Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback that he played with, and that was a broke down Aaron Rodgers. So now you get Geno Smith. Yes, guys, please don't sit there and laugh because I'm going to talk about Geno Smith for just a moment. When Geno Smith has protection, he's a capable quarterback. He's capable of getting a star receiver like Garrett Wilson the ball. And guess what? They have a better offensive line on paper than the Raiders did last year with Geno Smith. So Geno Smith has an upgrade in offensive line. He has an upgrade with the wide receivers at Garrett Wilson. Like this is all screaming out for me. Another one of those years where you get over 200 plus points from him. He's a borderline wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2. The other thing I'm going to tell you this as well, with the Eagles, the whole A.J. Brown situation, I understand that vacates a lot of targets. You know how I feel where I think some of those targets are going to go, and it's not to Dontavian Wicks. I think a lot of those targets are going to go to Saquon Barkley because that's just going to be a safety zone for Jalen Hurts. They don't throw the ball a ton. They haven't in the last couple of years. Yes, that was with Kevin Patullo. And but I think Sirianni still wants to emphasize the run. Sean Mannion is there now. Sean Mannion is going to emphasize the run. He's going to use Saquon Barkley. I think that the Slim Reaper gets used in the offense, but I think that he also gets abused for fantasy purposes because he may abuse his managers because you're going to be falling under that inconsistency umbrella yet again. They got Mekhi Lemon. They've got Dontavian Wicks. They've got Hollywood Brown. They've got a lot of different receivers who do kind of the same thing, but some of them do different things. Oh, yeah, and don't let me talk about Dallas Goedert, who got 11 touchdowns last year. Like, the Slim Reaper, he'll get in between the 20s, but when they get down there deep, when they need to get the dirty work done, there's just so many other mouths or so many other players that can give them that positive outcome and so much more opportunity. that I think that Slim Reaper just comes out just a little bit. So I'm drafting Garrett Wilson because the only thing I think that's stopping him is health.
Yeah, the problem is you were up with a tall task, Tip, and unfortunately, you had a judge who I don't hate Garrett Wilson more than I hate like Kyle Pitts and stuff like that. But like I will never, ever, ever in my right mind recommend somebody ever draft Garrett Wilson. I mean, when you look at his like stat totals of last year, he had one with he had a London game with zero catches, 0 yards, 13, 71, 50. It's just
Don't look at it week by week.
you
in
have to,
that
because like
aspect.
that's what you get, right? Like that's what you week to week. He drafted him in the 3rd round. You lost your week. You lost. He lost you the week by getting those donuts. Like there's no point ever where Devontae Swift lost you the week because he wasn't drafted in the 3rd round. Now of course he elevated a little bit because of course the situation now, so we're expecting him to have a lot more consistency, but at the same time it's also a level of anxiety reducing or inducing depending how you think about it, because I have drafted Garrett Wilson one year when of course Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback, and you know what, I went with the stack. Actually, I went for Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, and I paired them together with a stack thinking it was going to be beautiful. I think I finished in last place in that league, specifically because I got destroyed by that stack because it was an expensive stack of Garrett Wilson. And there's so many weeks where you sit there and you go, God, it's so anxiety inducing. Should I bench him? Should I start him? I don't know what to do with him anymore. And more often than not, I made the wrong decision. And of course, it ended up where I am today. So I would unfortunately never recommend somebody drafting Garrett Wilson. I'm going to have to give Nicho the shout out on this one and the dub. But of course, the follow-up argument is definitely available to the floor. Tip, how do you feel?
My thing is this, man. In fantasy football, you want 2 things. You want opportunity and you want consistency. And I think Garrett Wilson will give you both of those. Yes. Could he give you a 0 week? Okay, of course. It's a wide receiver. He's on an offense who, I think it's going to be better than what people think, but I don't think it's going to be a great offense by any means. I think that you are looking for also a little upside, and Garrett Wilson can provide that. He can have those blow up weeks where, Devonta Smith can as well. But I think that, again, man, he's not going to be the focal point in this offense. He might be the focal point as a wide receiver, but he's not going to be the focal point in this offense. I think that's Saquon Barkley, and I think it could be Dallas Goedert. I think they found something last year, him and Jalen Hurts. And now with A.J. Brown gone, I get it, but there's a lot of questions that need to be answered with this wide receiver group, and I want to see it in action before I'm like 100% on Devonta Smith.
Breece Hall, Omar Cooper,
Breece
Mitchell, and Kenyon.
I saw
and let's not forget about Mason Taylor. He got a lot of targets. Listen. We talked about it before. Geno Smith, he's not a mobile quarterback. He's going to be more of a check down Charlie. And they brought in weapons, and I believe that target share isn't going to be sitting at where it was last year in the 30s, which was obviously elite. But at the same time, my guy, he's not going to need 12 targets every single week just to be productive.
Well, speaking about some production, I heard you doing trades over here, Nicho. What's going on with this?
Yeah, I made a Dynasty trade yesterday, gentlemen.
Yeah, talk about this Dynasty trade.
We love trades.
Let's have the chat drop comments below about what they think of this trade and who won. So it's the 4th year. I drafted a win now team for the most part, so I'm definitely contending. I got 1st place a couple years ago, and I got 3rd place in year 1 and year 3, and I still have that window. But I have guys like Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and my 3rd running back is like Rico Dowdle and Tajay Spears, and it's not deep. I'm very deep at wide receiver, but I'm not deep at running back. And I made a trade. I traded the king. I traded Derrick Henry. And a 2027 3rd-round pick, and I got in return David Montgomery and the 4th overall pick in this year's draft. obviously looking to turn that 4th overall pick into Jadarian Price. And if for some reason Tate or Tyson slip, I'm definitely I'm leaning towards going for the best available. But what do you guys think? I mean, Derrick Henry, he keeps defying the odds, but he is still.
It's like, when is it going to happen? One of these days, it's going to happen. And I don't know if you were like, we were doing a space last year, and Greg Kellogg came on there, and he was talking about how he thinks Derrick Henry is done, was washed. And for a couple of weeks after that, he was, and then he had that 4-touchdown game in December. And, there's the joke around, Derrick Henry coming back, being the Yeti, especially the fantasy footballers. They always talk about him, when the colder months come around, it's Derrick Henry time. I don't know, man. I think it's a good trade for you because you're getting rid of a player in Derrick Henry. I think you probably could have got a notch up just because of the namesake. But David Montgomery is not a bad name to have. I think that he is going to be the number one guy for the Texans offense. I don't think he's going to be a bell cow, but I think he will be the number one option when it comes out there in the backfield for them. So I like that. You got a player now. Nothing irks me more, fellas, when these players they trade away a player just to get a pick. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't even know who the hell that pick's going to be. Like, what if that pick is trash? What if that pick doesn't amount to anything? So you got to go out there and get somebody, get another player for if there's going to be draft picks involved. You got to get another player. And I like what you did there. And then you got the 4th overall pick. Nader, what do you think of that?
Now, did you take the 1st round pick knowing that you're going to be able to get Price, or is it just a speculation?
I took the pick knowing that I would probably get Price, but if for some reason Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson fall to me, obviously Jeremiah Love's not falling to me.
Who are your receivers?
I would feel
again,
good about that. Nico Collins, Jamar Chase, Zay Flowers, Alec Pierce. It's a double flex.
You ain't worried about those other.
Exactly. But my mindset in
Tate,
most situations is usually go with the best available player over the positional need. And maybe it's because I got burned by it last year. I drafted Caleb Johnson over Emeka Buka in this same team. And maybe it haunts me a little bit. But I truly do believe you need to just focus on drafting the best available player and let the cards fall where they may outside of that. But knowing that I was getting essentially Monty and presumably Price for Derrick Henry in a 2027 third, I'm not thinking.
I think you did really well, man. I think you did really well. I mean, you could have. The only thing I could have said is maybe go up a notch or maybe get 2 running backs just off the stake of his name, dude. But you're getting that 1st round pick, and I like Jadarian Price. I think he can do something in Seattle there. But what I will say is this. The only thing this is what I wanted to say. Post that on X. Post that trade on X under our account tonight. I want to see what we get some track. A lot of people like these trade questions, and so float that out there this evening, and let's see what we get from that. I think we're going to get some good content on that one, man. That'll be good.
Yeah, I do. I would be interested to see, hypothetically, if Price is gone and you draft a wide receiver. Like, you can't start 5 wide receivers at some point, right?
Right.
So that'd be
correct. Then I would be rolling out JT and Monty.
Yeah, that'd be
But then again, my 3rd running back would be Rico Dottle, Kenneth Gainwell, Tajay Spears.
Oh yeah. Okay. See, I like Kenneth Gainwell. I didn't hear that name before.
I had to pull up the team.
No, now you're cooking, bro. Now you're cooking with gravy, bro. You're good.
But I needed some youth. I needed some youth on this team.
Yeah, you needed a little bit of youth. Yeah,
some fresh legs.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, guys, before we close up shop for tonight, let's just real quick give a couple of sleepers. We can talk about them another time, but let's just real quick give sleepers and some breakout players. Nader, we're gonna start with you. So give us 1 sleeper and 1 breakout player, and you go ahead, go.
average running back 38 spot, Rashid White is got to be a huge sleeper
Yeah,
that people
like
need
it.
to start taking more seriously. Like he is on the Commanders with the backfield competing with JCM, aka Bill, and then some rookie named Katron Allen. Like he doesn't even have a running back name, and you're telling me Rashad White can't
That's a
beat
good
them
running back
out?
name.
Like you're telling me somebody JCM Bill got outsnapped by Chris Rodriguez every single time they played together. Like you're sitting here and you're gonna tell me that Rashad White isn't better than them? Like you're kidding, you're crazy. Unless Rashad White just falls off a cliff talent-wise, like there's just no way that he sits there as running back 38 and finishes the season running back 38 or not, or worse, I should say. Like he is, in my opinion, guaranteed a plus 20 RB finish. Like, and that's to me like the floor. It should be like the 15 mark.
All right, look, time's ticking. So give us a breakout guy.
All right, breakout guy is going to be my boy Matthew Golden. And unfortunately, I could sit here and give you all the statistics and reasons of why I think so, but realistically, there isn't really that much of a statistic for me to go off of, other than he's just got to do it. Like you just gotta break. Like,
Has to.
like it can't be much worse than this. That's like my thing right now for you. Like you just can't do that much worse. When you're the first wide receiver that the Packers drafted in the first round in the last 20 years, and you're going to tell me that he's a bust, he can't be a bust. They got to force feed him. They got to make sure they prove the franchise right, and somebody is got to look good, and Matthew Golden has got to be that guy, or else they're just never going to draft somebody early anymore on the offensive side.
Yeah, the Pick Is In podcast is right. Keep an eye on Katron Allen. And you know, Rashad White, though, is a great sleeper. Nico, give us your sleeper and your breakout player.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Brooks. He's sitting around 10th, 11th round at that point of your draft. Prioritize upside. He's still 22.9 years young. Chuba Hubbard is probably one of the least efficient running backs in the NFL. He thrives on opportunity even more than the guys we talked about earlier in the show. And then my breakout is by Shelton. 260 carries are now up for grabs with ETN gone. You know, Chris Rodriguez is dealing with an injury right now. And, you know, Tootin's opportunity is coming. He had a 6.3 yard per carry, over 1,100 yards, 17 TDs in his last year in college, dominated the NFL Combine, which is how he moved up in drafts. He's going to have the opportunity. It's an elite offense, and I think he's going to take full advantage of it. Tootin is breaking out this season.
Everybody's talking about Bishal Tootin. That has been a hot name most all off season, and I think it'll continue to be a hot name. I think Nader, you drafted him in the fourth round, or in the the third or fourth round?
Fourth round, and you guys gave me so much slack,
and I'll do it to whoever does it. Whoever is out there and drafts Bishal Tootin in the fourth round, I will give you a bunch of flack. Don't get it twisted.
I'll be right, buddy.
I got him in like the 10th round in my startup dynasty draft that happened pre-ETN. So I love that. It was
that now 10th round we're talking. There's no way you can get him in the 10th round now, but I think it's definitely closer to that fourth round that Nader had done earlier in the offseason. But definitely a steal nonetheless. I think he can break out. I think this whole offense is going to break out. It already did. I think it could just build up on that. For me, I'm going to just be quick, guys. My sleeper is Tyrone Tracy. My breakout player is Chigoziem Okonkwo. Sleeper Tyrone Tracy. If you want to read some more on him, I did an article on Fantasy Life. You can check it out there. And the same thing with Chigoziem Okonkwo. You could check them out there. Other than that, let's close up shop. What do we have, Nico or Nader?
Well, let's see here. Of course, as always, you're going to want to like, subscribe, comment down below, and tell me what you think about the show. Anything you want to specifically to talk about or go over, feel free to let us know so we can go ahead and do so. Leave a 5-star review on your podcasting platform. And, of course, follow the Fantasy Football Space on X. And, of course, these degenerates that I have alongside me. And, of course, we are on a journey to be the best fantasy football players we could possibly be. Well, other than that, hey, let's move on and hit the end of the show. Good luck, everybody.